Hello everyone, you're watching Conversations with Kishani Alanki. I would like to start off by wishing all of you a very happy new year. On today's show, I have a special guest who is a talented and gifted film director, producer and screenwriter. He's undoubtedly one of the best filmmakers in Sri Lanka. I'm in conversation with Chandran Rutnam. Hello.
Hi Alanki, nice to see you.
Thank you for being here, and this is the first program for 2020.
Oh wow, okay.
So let's just start off with your plans for the year. What plans do you have for the year?
In the film industry, of course, we have a lot of plans. We have scheduled about 3 films during the year.
Right.
Most of those, actually all 3 of them are slightly different from the earlier ones I've made, because we have to now think of the world market, not just Sri Lanka.
Absolutely.
So we are, one film we're planning on shooting in 3 languages, Hindi, Tamil and Sinhala. So then we'll have 3 markets. And
Will it be 3 different films?
No, the same actors. Say you're the actress, you do the Sinhala one, cut. The Hindi teacher will tell you how to do it, how to say the next line. Same line in Hindi, you do it, cut, and we put the Tamil instructor to teach you the Tamil line. Of course, we'll have rehearsals and all that before, so you won't be alien to what's happening. You'll know the story, you'll know the dialogue, but he will remind you and give you the accent and all that, you know.
But it would cater to an international market.
Well, so we'll have, don't forget there are 80 million Tamils in Tamil Nadu, 80 million.
Absolutely.
So we have to cater to them, and also the Hindi thing is mainly to give whoever is in the movie a little break, that they might, if they hit it off in Hindi, they can make it big in Mumbai.
Absolutely.
It's a shot, you know.
You know, I found it rather interesting that you dropped out of school, you went to London to pursue a career in film, and you attended film school in the US.
Yes.
At which point in your life did you realize that you have a passion for cinema?
Oh, from the time I was 16, 17, when I worked on Bridge on the River Kwai. You see, my generation lived off films. Those days, young people, all they did was see 1 or 2 films, almost a week, 1 or 2 films, at least 1 or 2 films. That was our entertainment. We didn't go to nightclubs, we were too young, or maybe that was not the type of behavior in those days. So going to movies was our passion. And that gave me a lot of insight on the industry, and I began to love it. I had the opportunity then to work on Bridge on the River Kwai. It so happened that the production company came to Colombo, and they hired one of my mother's houses, and then I got friendly with them, and then they gave me a job. And then at that time I had been to America before, so I was familiar with Hollywood and all that. And I think I was the only person on that Sri Lankan team that had ever been to Hollywood. So the main actor and I became friends because we had a lot in common to talk about. William Holden, he was the biggest star of the time.
Wow.
And then he said, if you come to America, look me up. And the same thing was told to me by the production manager. They all loved me because I worked hard and I was enthusiastic, and I would anticipate what they wanted, and I used to shock them, by providing it. I had the opportunity of working with Sir David Lee, the greatest director in the world. So I'm watching him. I'm always watching him, and I see his eyes going there. I see him looking at a tree, and going like that. So I felt that he thinks that tree is dull. So before I can say Jack, I would go there and put flowers on the tree. And he says to me, why do you do that? I said, I think you want it a little more colorful. I didn't tell you that, but I like it. So things like that, So then became very friendly, and the production manager said to me, if you come to London, look me up. Hey, don't say that to me because I will do that. When they left, 2 days later, I left. And I knocked on the door when I go to London. Same group of production people. They're surprised.
Maybe it was destiny as well. Maybe you were destined to be in the industry.
Yeah, well, when you have that type of passion, when you ask me when did I have it, I had it from a very young age. And that's all I wanted to do. But you must realize the industry is changing. And we have to keep up with the industry changes.
Absolutely.
So, now the movies I make are not just Sri Lankan movies. I did The Common Man with Ben Kingsley, and it's an international movie in English. Then I did, the last one I did was about Father Matthew with this, Jacqueline Fernandez. So I'm thinking of more of an international way, but I can't give up the business of encouraging singular cinema. Singular cinema is very important. But these poor directors and producers, they make a movie and have to wait in the queue. It takes a long time for a film to be released. So it's difficult for them to make a profit. They paid for the interest on the money and all that. So I have come up with a new thing. I have formed a company called, with some Americans, called Tonto Flix. And we are going to distribute all the singular films throughout the entire world. So they don't have to wait on the queue. They make money immediately.
When do you plan on doing this?
January. That's my big thing for the new year. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So if you have a film and you're in the queue, you come to me. I put your film on next month to the entire world except Sri Lanka. I can't touch Sri Lanka because we have our system where you have to be in the queue. So you can do that as well at the right time when your time comes up on the queue. But meanwhile, why should you not be making money with your film?
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. But like this so-called system you talk about, do you think it's encouraging our cinema makers?
Which system?
Our filmmakers, where you have to actually wait in line.
It is not at all encouraging, and it is a very sad situation. But we have said we are going to fix it for so many years, and that somehow it's never been done. So we are beating a dead horse, more or less. You have to make such drastic changes. First of all, you must revisit the act. We are still talking about film. We are not making films on film. We are making digital.
Right.
So you have to remove that word. The act is governing that word, film, and digital. So there's a bit of a hiccup there. So you have to revisit the act, and you got to come up with new ideas and new methods, so that these people can see the films. You see, sometimes you watch a film that is outdated. It was made 3 years ago. The director is dead, or the actor is old, or the subject matter is no longer relevant. So it's not good. In India, if they are going to first of all, when they're making a film, if they want to release the film on the 1st of March, they shoot it the previous month. February, they start shooting. Finish in February, March, they're releasing it the next month. So there's no interest payment, no waiting period. So we got to come to that. We got to resolve that matter. I think the present government might take a different look at it, and hopefully come up with some new ideas.
You have won several awards at international film festivals, and you have definitely placed Sri Lanka on the map. Do you think the reason for your success and the reason that your work stands out is because you think out of the box, you do things differently?
Well, yes, I think so. They might not be that much out of the box, but they are certainly out of the box in Sri Lanka.
Right.
I worked with the greatest directors in the world. John Bowman, David Lean, who's that? Regis Wagner, Carol Reed. These are giants in the industry. So that is a university in itself. When you work with those people, you observe them and you learn from them. And the best way to learn is, as they say, on-job training. While you're doing a film, you learn as you work on a film. It's nice to go to school and learn filmmaking, but that is not the answer. The answer is you got to learn on the job.
It's all about experience.
Yes, absolutely.
So from all the films you've made, which film do you think has had the greatest impact in your career?
Well, obviously, on my career, I would say Common Man, because it won 3 international awards. That film is the only film in the history of Asia, so India and Sri Lanka. This is the only film that won on the mainstream Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Director.
Wow.
No other film The last time anybody won a Best Director award in Southeast Asia was Satyajit Ray in 1954. Since 54 to now, Common Man is the only film that won, and I'm very proud of it. Also, it must be noted that most of the awards that have been given away today, and in Asia, and they've been given away to a lot of Philippines, Malaysians, Indians, Sri Lankans. These are not mainstream. They are not the main award. The main award, there's only one main award. It's when you go to a festival, there is a thing called the Mainstream International Film Award. That is the best picture in the world, best director in the world, best actor in the world. Then you have the best first-time director, and the best Asian director, or the best foreign language director or picture. Those are also good, wonderful awards, but they are not the mainstream award. It's not the main award. So I'm very proud to say we are the only people who won it in the last so many years.
Congratulations, you bagged them all.
I have to talk about it because a lot of people misunderstand what this award system is. Yeah.
Let's talk about According to Matthew. You embarked on a very controversial project when you took up the movie. And it's based on a very controversial subject, and it shed light to many important issues. How was this movie received in Sri Lanka?
Well, it was well received. It was difficult to get tickets, so I guess the cinemas were full. Right. We had an English. We shot it in English, but we had a dubbed version as well. Mm-hmm. So it was extremely well received, and now we are presently, we are showing it, or we are marketing it in the other countries in the world.
Why do you think films like this? Why do you think many such films are not being made here?
Well, everybody has a film inside them. You have a film. That guy has a film. That guy has a film. If you give him the money, he will make a film. And so will you. Everybody. So we don't know what we want. We really don't know. It's a personal thing, and a lot of times it happens by accident as well. You fall upon a subject by accident. Now you're talking about Matthew. I wrote the script 20 years ago, and I wrote it because Father Matthew wanted me to write it, but he didn't like my script because he said he's innocent. But the court record showed that he was guilty and condemned to death by hanging. So we fell out, and then 20 years later somebody comes and says, "Hey, lovely script, why don't we do it?" So, okay, let's do it. So, a lot of accidental things happen as well. Circumstance, serendipity, you can call it.
Well, that was truly a very, very interesting film. I love watching films which shed light on important issues like this, which are usually swept under the carpet.
Yeah.
And anyway, you are the founder of Film Location Services, and you worked with big names from Hollywood, and you've hosted many foreign films to be shot in Sri Lanka. Yeah. With all that experience and having lived abroad for almost 4 decades, what is it like when you compare Hollywood with what the Sri Lankan cinema industry is now?
Well, Sri Lankan cinema industry now is full of talent that is not exposed. Mm-hmm. You see, talent is in every country. Now, if you go to Disney Studios, you go to the animation department, you will find more than 40% of the animators are of our color. They are either Indians, Filipinos, Malaysians, Singaporeans, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. How come? That means that there is this God-given talent to our people, to the Asian people, but we are not making use of it. So we should, and that's another one of my projects. I am doing an animated movie this year for the world market.
Oh wow, you're making an animated movie?
Yes.
Right. And at one point, the Sri Lankan cinema industry was in line with Bollywood in recent history.
Yeah.
And then you don't see that happening anymore.
Yeah, but we can't put the blame on the Sri Lankan cinema or the people in the cinema, because what is our population, what is the Indian population?
Right.
That market is there. They make a movie, people go to watch it, Millions of people go to watch it. Today in Sri Lanka, I'm sad to say, first of all, our population is much smaller, but that's not what I'm sad about. What I'm sad to say is, in that population, we do not have film-going public. Very few people in our population go out to see a singular film. They would rather see a Bollywood film. They would rather see an English film. Why? Not because the film is no good, but they can't be bothered. They say, well, we can watch that on TV when it comes to TV. You see? And then, usually when they come on the screen, they're outdated anyway. You know, the subject matter is not of interest. It's not topical anymore. Things like that. See, that is why my new company, Toronto Flix, will distribute the film almost 2 months after it is made. So that the subject matter is of interest, the actors are young and vibrant, and there is a lot of enthusiasm for people. And it's being watched by Sri Lankans living abroad. So the Sri Lankans living abroad would rather watch a singular movie than our Sri Lankan population in Colombo. Sorry to say, but that is a fact.
I couldn't agree with you more. Everyone knows you as a filmmaker. Who really is Chandran Rutnam? If you actually leave the filmmaking part aside.
Well, I have a large family. I have children. I have a lot of siblings, and I'm a guy who was wanderlust, enthusiastic, bold, to live for my dream place was Hollywood, and I went there and I did what I could, and then I loved it there. I enjoyed. I love America, but I'm more passionate about Sri Lanka.
That's why you returned.
And that's why I came back, and I'm very happy I came back. And I go to America and visit my family and my friends 3-4 times a year. So it's not like I don't see anybody, you know. And the world is getting smaller, and you know, transport is fast, so it happens, you know. And the two passions I had in my life happened to be aviation and films.
Two very contrasting
Yeah,
fields.
so I have an aviation business. I have a flying school and an aerospace engineering college, and I had the only domestic scheduled airline, which some of you might know was operation for a long time, and then during the Civil War, you know, the plane was shot down, and then I had to restart. But those are my main interests. I love aviation. I love films, you know, and I keep doing it happily.
I truly enjoyed this conversation with Chandran Rutnam. We have come to the end of the first segment,
Okay.
but now we've come to my favorite part of the conversation, which will be a rapid fire round.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Well, let's see. Okay, let's go.
Okay, stay tuned.
Needs a lot of love. Sri Lankan movie.
Any movie.
Any movie. Citizen Kane. Swarna Malavarachi. Okay, that's a good one. Clint Eastwood. Wow, that's a very interesting question. Yes, I would like to. So many of them. That's a hard one. So many of them.
But if you had the opportunity, just one.
Okay, I would like to do maybe Frankie and Johnny. I hope so. Right now, I'm happy when I'm with my kids. My wife. No, I meant it, huh? My wife, I was joking.
Yeah.
My wife, yes, yes. Road from Elephant Pass. Actor, I would say Ashan Dias. Excellent. And there is a lot of talent. You mean current one or one that has been around? Swarna was a super actress.
Right.
She still is, you know. And she's been my favorite all the time.
Okay everyone, so we've come to the end of another very interesting segment of Conversations. This was a very interesting conversation. Thank you, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And I will be back with another very interesting segment of Conversations. Until then, take care. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.